Critic Guy, and I'm here today to review the anime, or I should say OVA series, Golden Boy. Now, Golden Boy follows Kintaro Oe, a 25-year-old man who dropped out of the prestigious Tokyo University Law because he mastered the entire curriculum, and I guess he just got bored just sitting around all the time, so he decided to mount his bike and travel all across Japan, taking part-time work wherever he can find it. And in the course of his journey, he encounters many interesting people, mostly women, and help better their lives while also learning about life himself. Now, this anime, or OVA series, was graciously sent to me by one of my subscribers by the name of Ratchet Command, and I heard through the grapevine that this is actually one of Bob Samurai's favorite anime. So Bob, if you're watching this, which I really hope you do, please notice me, senpai, please, I love you so much, go on, I love you. Well, that got creepy real fast. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let's never speak of it again. But anyways, Bob, if you are watching this video, I hope you enjoy, and hopefully you and I see eye to eye about this OVA series. I have a sneaking suspicion that we won't, but hey, that's the beauty of our relationship. Sometimes we agree, and sometimes we disagree. Much love, brother. I honestly knew zilch about this OVA series, but I have heard about it over the years and I've been pretty curious to check it out. And so now that Ratchet Command sent it to me, I have no excuse not to watch and review it. And so I saw the entirety of Golden Boy, and what do I think about it? Well, let's get into it, shall we? The biggest praise I can give Golden Boy is for its art and animation. It's fantastic. I love how fluid the motions are and the retro look of the anime. It makes me feel nostalgic for the old ways, similar to how I felt when watching Jubei-chan the Ninja Girl. The most standout piece of animation in the series is the bike chase scene. That entire scene was breathtaking and incredible. Some of the best animation I've seen from that decade. It was exhilarating, intense, thrilling, and hilarious all at the same time. I enjoyed many of the characters in the series to an extent. The main character, Kintaro, is a decent guy and he is likable to a certain degree, but what I love most about the character is what the character stood for rather than the character himself. His philosophy in regards to striving for higher knowledge through life experiences was both fascinating and inspiring. It's something that I wish I could do with my life if I had the courage and money to do so, which unfortunately I do not have. And I also liked how he bettered the lives of people that he met in his journey and taught them new ways of approaching life, new ways of seeing things, and kind of expanding their minds, making them think outside the box. I really like that. A character that has impact on various characters' lives is a fascinating character, a well done character. And speaking of the characters that Kintaro influenced, there were two that really stood out to me and that I thoroughly enjoyed in the entire series. The first was Nalco, the teenage daughter of a mayoral candidate who used her feminine wiles and youthful innocence to seduce men purely out of boredom. And I really like the relationship and bond that she created with Kintaro. She was a fully realized character, and I wish she was in the anime more. I wish we could have saw more of her adventures. She's such an interesting character. And then there's Rico. Oh my goodness, this character. If you have seen this series, then you will understand my reaction, because she is without question the most bizarre character in the entire series, who has a weird fixation for her motorcycle and lets it get her engines running. If you catch my drift, oh, get it? Oh my god, I did two in a row. Reiko's cool, sexy, badass, and bizarre in that very interesting and alluring way where you just want to learn more about the character. You want to see this character more in the series and kind of learn how she got to where she is in the show. I mean, it was just a show about Rico and Kintaro, I might love this show. In fact, if it was just like a whole show about these two chasing after each other, that would have been a great show. Sign me up for that. Golden Boy, The Chase, I'm there. But unfortunately, and I'm gonna have to break your heart, Ratchet Command and Bob Samurai, I do have many issues with Golden Boy. One of the biggest deals with the characters, as a majority of them are so hollow and forgettable. Besides our main character and the two girls I mentioned previously, I didn't really care for or even remembered the other girls that Kintaro met during his journey. Like the first episode, he meets big boobs girl who drives a really fast car and like she works at some type of computer agency. Didn't really care much for her. And then in the third episode, I believe he met like this really nice girl that works at a restaurant with her family, and she's being played by this asshole guy, and she didn't stand out that much to me. There was a swimmer, I believe, like an Olympic swimmer. She was in it. Now, she had potential. I thought she could have been interesting. And little fun fact, the Japanese voice actress for her is the same voice actress that does Belle Dandy, which I thought was fascinating. I didn't even notice it when I was watching it in its Japanese version. But again, there's just not much to her character. She didn't really grow that much, in my opinion. There's this whole arc where she kind of accepts this challenge from Kintaro about the ways of teaching people how to swim, which I thought was fascinating. But again, it just didn't feel like she grew as a character. And then finally, the last girl, I'll talk a little bit more about her later on, but she was very disappointing and underwhelming. I'm a little disappointed that we don't really see Kintaro learning from his various experiences. Now, before any of you type it in the comments, and put your hands down, Bob Samurai, get away from that keyboard. Hear me out first. Hear what I have to say about this. I understand that the character carries around a notebook where he jots down a couple notes and says, oh, how educational in each episode. I know that. What I mean by him not learning from his various experiences is that we don't see him incorporating the things that he learns episode by episode. He doesn't really grow throughout this entire journey, so it doesn't feel like he's learned anything. Most of this, of course, can be attributed to the series' episodic nature, which I'm not particularly fond of. And look, it's perfectly fine if you want him to travel. Hell, I love that premise. I think that it is a very fascinating, enthralling, and unique premise, having a character travel across a country on a bike. I mean, who wouldn't be into a story like that? But because this is a story about a guy trying to gain new knowledge by experiencing life, you have to make it seem as if the character is gaining new knowledge or new understanding on life that he can carry with them on his journey. And that just isn't the case. I feel like he's the same character at the beginning as he is at the very end. And I know many might even argue that it's not really him that needs to grow, it's actually the people that he impacts on his journey that needs to grow. But no. His character was clearly stated to want to learn about life, experience life. So we have to see him grow through his journey too. The side characters can grow as well, which sometimes they do and sometimes I never really felt it. But he has to grow as well. And finally, the last episode was pretty decent, but not all that fulfilling. Now I will give the last episode some props as it did do some good things. Like, I like how they incorporated all the women Kintaro met in his journey and impacted in his life, and how they utilized their skills to help Kintaro out in a crunch. That was really cool. And I did like how they showed the animation process and how extremely demanding and difficult it is. That was a nice touch. But sadly, those elements were not enough to save this final episode, as I just didn't really care much for the story or the characters involved. Not to mention that the final girl, the one that gets the most focus in this episode, I believe her name is Chie. She is without question the most underwhelming female character in the entire series. In fact, I would say she is the weakest. I didn't care much for her. She's way too simplistic and nice. I mean, she just kind of blends in with the background, doesn't really stand out as a character. And what frustrated me even more is that my two favorite characters in the entire series are barely in this final episode. I mean, I would have loved to see them again. I would have loved to see them interact with Kintaro, but no, we have to focus on Big Tit Lady from the first episode and Swimmer Lady from the fourth episode, and the girl that worked at the restaurant comes in with food for everybody. I'm like, no! Well, let's get back to that vain girl from the second episode, and let's get back to Motorcycle Chick. Let's see them again, please. Please, can we just see them? Overall, the most I can say about Golden Boy is that it's relatively harmless. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had parts I enjoyed and parts that I wasn't interested in and found boring. And it just came off to be a very average, decent experience that was just, it's okay. But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Golden Boy. I would love to know what you guys thought about this anime as well. Did you absolutely adore it? Is it one of your favorite anime of all time? Or is it really boring and stale and you just couldn't get into it? And let me know, what is your favorite OVA series from the 90s? My personal favorite was the Oh My Goddess OVA series. That was actually the thing that got me into Oh My Goddess, and I've loved it ever since. And it actually has one of my favorite ending themes that I will play at the very end and put a link to it in the description, so go check that out. But I would love to know, what are your favorite OVA series from the 90s? Comment below, let me know. Stay tuned, I got more reviews, movie, anime, TV shows, all that stuff, and a top 10 that will probably coming out this Saturday, so get excited for that. So until the next video comes, guys, if you'd like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, why not donate to my Patreon account? There's a link in the description to it, and if you'd like to send me any fan letters, send it to this P.O. Box right up here. And if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm 21 II, eagerly learning about life as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube!